Real quick, thank you to Panasonic for partnering with me on this video. I'm excited to show you the new Panasonic palm razor later in the video. I don't know about you, but oftentimes when I buy something, I end up being kind of disappointed. You know, a shirt that doesn't last more than a couple seasons, those shoes that weren't as comfy as you hoped they'd be, a sofa that looked better in the pictures than in your living room. I think we've all been there. You know, buyer's remorse is a real thing, but every now and then you discover a real gem, something that serves its purpose perfectly and seems to last forever. So from footwear to furniture, I'm going to show you a few of these items that I've been using regularly for many years. Starting with a couch. So after college, I moved back in with my parents for a couple of years to save money. When I finally got my own place, it was a group house with a few roommates. We furnished the entire thing via the free stuff section on Craigslist. We just didn't have money for furniture. When I finally got my own apartment for the first time, I knew that I was ready to buy the one piece of furniture that I always wanted, a big brown leather couch. I went to this local mom and pop furniture store, sat on probably 100 couches, and finally picked the one. It was from an Italian brand called Natuzzi. It cost $1,200. Granted, this was 15 years ago. And at that time, it was the most money I've ever spent on anything. I still sit on this sofa every day. It's been in 5 different homes across 4 different cities. I've transported it all the way across the country twice. It's been a bed for friends who had one too many to drive. It's been a lounge for my wife and I and our old little dog Clover, rest in peace, when we first moved in together. It's been a place for me to read bedtime stories to my 2 little girls. Nowadays, it's a launch pad for them to practice jumping off. I love this couch, and it's aged so well you would never know that it was nearly 20 years old. It's outlasted several newer sofas that we've had from trendy internet brands, and I think it has plenty of life left in it. I didn't really know it at the time, but this turned out to be a buy once, cry once purchase. I tried to find this exact sofa online. It's not really available anymore. Natuzzi is now a very high-end brand, so if you wanted something similar, it would probably cost many thousands of dollars. For me, the lesson here was don't skimp. You know, buy the item you actually want, and it'll serve you well for many years. Speaking of spending a little more for quality, I'm excited to show you something that I've been using a lot lately, and I'm partnering with Panasonic to talk about it. This is the Panasonic palm razor. It's one of the brand's best-selling items in Japan. It won the Men's Health Tech and IF Design Awards in 2025, and after using it, I understand why. I've actually been using electric shavers for nearly a decade, and this one is a serious upgrade for me. You can tell right away, the size, the design, the way it fits in your hand, it's got that quiet, minimalist, made in Japan vibe. The palm razor may be small, but it's engineered with precision Japanese blade technology. This is the same tech used in crafting swords. That means it's extremely sharp for a close shave, but it's also smooth and gentle on your skin. The first time I used it, I was pleasantly surprised with how well it handled the hair around my chin. Unlike my old shaver, this one adapts to the contours really easily. There's no tugging, no irritation, just comfortable control. The day after using it for the first time, I could tell just how close a shave I got. My face the next morning felt really smooth. And it's not just the function, the design is beautiful? That's a weird thing to say about a razor, I know. But look at the white model, which is made from this eco-friendly nagori that's reminiscent of balanced stone in a Japanese Zen garden. It's subtle and refined, but luxe. I don't even want to put it in the cabinet, which is fine because it doesn't take up any space. It looks great on the counter. It also fits perfectly in my DOP kit, unlike my old brick of a shaver that always felt like I was packing a power tool. This cordless razor has USB-C charging, a shower-proof body that's easy to clean. So if you're into clean design, smart tech, and products that are worth spending a little bit more on, check out the Panasonic palm razor. I'll link to both colors in the description and a pinned comment below. Moving on, let's talk about the most comfortable and durable sneakers that I've ever owned. The New Balance 990 V6. The 990 V6 is the latest version of New Balance's iconic Made in USA model, and they completely live up to the hype. Since buying them about a year and a half ago, I've worn them several times a week, and they still look and feel great. They're my go-to pick for travel if I know that I'm going to be doing a lot of walking. When my feet are hurting, these are the shoes that I reach for. In fact, they're the first pair of shoes that helped me start to alleviate some nagging foot pain that I've been dealing with for the last few years. The crazy thing is, I've gotten a lot of running shoes from other brands that are just as comfortable, maybe even more comfortable, but they just don't last as long. The first thing to go is always the foam that makes up the midsole of any running shoe or athletic shoe. It loses its resilience, so it becomes less bouncy, it returns less energy with each step over time. So even if the upper of your shoes and the sole looks great, if that midsole foam has lost its resilience, the shoe won't be comfortable and it won't give you the support and comfort you need. Once the midsole is spent, even an orthotic insert won't really help. But this just hasn't happened on my 990s. The end cap midsole feels just as supportive as the day I unboxed them. Also, the upper, which is made from pigskin, suede, and mesh, still looks pretty good. I haven't cleaned them at all. Part of it is this gray color just handles dirt really well. If you compare these to my Asics 1130s, which are much newer, the Asics look and feel very worn down. They just have not aged as well as the 990s. I made a whole video about these sneakers. You can go check that out if you want to learn more about them, but these definitely deserve a spot on this list. The Rolex Datejust 16030. So this 5-digit Datejust was manufactured in the mid-80s, just like me. I just wish that I was aging as gracefully as this 36mm steel sport watch. Granted, I did send it through a full Rolex service center treatment last year. I made a video about that process if you're curious. But even before that, it was keeping perfect time. I never had any technical issues with it. I had it serviced for aesthetic reasons and as preventative maintenance. This has been the most worn watch in my collection. I've had other Rolexes come and go, but this one, you can bury me in it. I'm just kidding. I'll hand it down to one of my 2 daughters, which means I'll probably have to get another one just to be fair. Anyway, since this vintage watch was recently serviced and pressure tested, I feel totally safe taking it swimming. It does have an oyster case after all. It was literally invented to be waterproof. And since I switched it from a Jubilee to an oyster bracelet, I find that it pairs really well with my mostly casual sense of style. Like, it's right at home with shorts and a t-shirt, which is my uniform from May through September. But I'll wear it with chinos and a knit polo or a camp collar shirt. I'll even wear it with a suit. Like if I'm dressing up and going to a wedding, I'm wearing this watch. It just works. And I don't baby this watch. It has scratches. It has dings. You know, I'll use Polywatch on the dial every few months to buff out the scratches, but I don't really mind the signs of age. It just means that I'm actually wearing the watch. It's part of my life. I'm embedding memories into it. It's not the only watch I have. It's definitely not the only watch I wear, but it's the one that I love the most. The Air Tech Sling. So I've mostly carried the same bag for the last 6 years. I've tried a lot of other bags, of course, but I always come back to this one. It's my personal item anytime I fly on a plane. It's my laptop bag every day when I go to the office. If I leave the house, chances are I'm carrying this bag. It's the original Air Tech Sling, a small crossbody bag that's big enough for a 14-inch laptop, along with any other daily essentials. It's a real Mary Poppins bag, if you get that reference. It just fits more than you'd think by looking at it. It's also really easy to carry, either on one shoulder or across your back or by the handle. And it really doesn't have any wear and tear despite years of heavy usage. It's a really well-made bag. However, kind of odd timing, Air, the brand who makes this bag, reached out a couple of months ago and offered to send their latest version, the V3. Of course, I couldn't resist. So this here is the Air Tech Sling version 3 X-Pack. So it's the 3rd iteration of the bag. This one has an X-Pack exterior, which makes it waterproof, along with a safety orange interior. The big changes from the original version that I've carried for many years are the reversible shoulder strap, a quick access exterior pocket, and the padded handle. Also, the interior of the bag has been consolidated into one compartment with a padded section for your laptop, so it doesn't have a separate zipper for your laptop. If I were choosing between all the versions and varieties of this bag, I'd probably go with this one, the latest version with the X-Pack exterior. But the original is still great, and I would be totally happy carrying it for another 6 years. You can also find it on eBay for like $70. I'm definitely sold on the crossbody laptop bag, and I think Air is a brand worth checking out. REI wool hiking socks. Back in 2015, a full 10 years ago, I went on this incredible trip to Bryce and Zion National Parks. We hiked Angel's Landing and the Narrows. We watched the sunrise over Bryce Canyon. It was an awesome trip. To prep for that trip, I went to REI and I bought a couple of pairs of their house brand merino wool lightweight quarter hiking socks. 10 years later, I still have these socks. I still wear them. In fact, I'm wearing them right now. They were probably $10 a pair, which comes out to $1 per year of owning these socks. Pennies per wear, maybe. They're my go-to when I'm hiking in shorts, but I want a little ankle support and coverage. They're great for packing light because merino wool is naturally odor resistant, so you can wear them multiple times without washing. They're perfect for hikes where your feet might get wet. It's okay to submerge these. They'll wick the moisture and dry out naturally, much better than cotton. And after 10 years, they don't have any holes, barely any pilling. I've tried all the most popular sock brands, you know, Bombas, Smartwool, Darn Tough, and these are right up there with the best, maybe the best. It looks like they cost about $16 a pair now. I mean, it's been 10 years. But if they're making them like they used to, this is still a great price. Highly recommended. iPhone 13 mini. This little old phone is still going strong despite being like 5 years old. Oh, it's gotta be longer than that, right? What phone are they on now? 17? 4? Yeah, okay. This little old phone is going strong despite being over 4 years old, which in phone years is like middle-aged. The only flaw is battery life, which isn't really a problem unless I'm traveling. On normal days, I'm charging it throughout the day. I have a charger in my car, a charger at my desk. When I'm traveling, I'm usually using my phone pretty heavily and I'm not charging charging as often, so I carry a little wireless MagSafe charger. I don't even usually need it, it's just a hedge in case my phone's getting low on battery and I need to call an Uber or something like that. Otherwise, this phone is still really fast, it runs all the latest apps. I love the size. I think modern phones are way too big. I wish they would continue putting flagship specs inside smaller bodies. But it seems like this little iPhone mini is the last of a dying breed, so I'm just gonna keep using it until it stops working. I do have a case on it, I have this little O-Snap grip. I'll probably even replace the battery at some point, which isn't that hard to do and is way cheaper than getting a new phone. If you're watching and you're also a card-carrying member of the iPhone 13 mini gang, sound off in the comments. We need to stand together. Asket braided elastic belt. I don't always wear belts. My dress pants, for example, pretty much all have side adjusters. During summer, I'm often wearing shorts with elastic waistbands and drawstrings. However, when I do wear a belt, it's often this braided elastic belt from Asket. I've had it for a few years now. I've worn it hundreds of times. It's showing zero signs of age. I love this type of belt because it's naturally micro-adjustable. It has a little bit of stretch built in, but not so much that makes it hard to pull through your belt loops. It's slim and low profile. The buckle isn't bulky. It's casual, but I think a bit more refined than a thick leather belt. I wear it with shorts, jeans, chinos, corduroys, with my shirt tucked in or untucked. Also, the navy color goes with any pair of shoes. Looks great with white leather sneakers, brown leather boots, athletic shoes, loafers. It's probably the most versatile, comfortable belt that I've worn. It's not cheap at $80, but for me, the cost per wear is pennies. If I'm not wearing this belt, I'm probably wearing an arcade belt. It's also a very comfortable, slim, but much more casual belt. A good belt is a great example of buying less but buying better. Links to everything down below in the description. High-Leat Flexion Joggers. So I've had these since 2018 when I made a video about trying to find workout pants for shorter guys. I tried out a bunch of different brands and these High-Leat Flexion Joggers were one of my top picks. And I still have them. I still wear them regularly. They've outlasted most other joggers or sweatpants that I've owned in the last 7 years. Unlike traditional cotton sweats, these haven't gotten any holes in the knees. I used to wear them to the gym during fall and winter, like when I was into lifting. Now they're mostly lounge pants. They'd also be good for long haul travel, like if you're doing an international red-eye flight. Their pocket configuration is perfect. There's plenty of space to securely store your phone and your wallet. The length is just right. I'm 5'6", by the way. High-Leat still sells these in 2 different lengths, which is great for shorter guys. Keep in mind, these are 7 years old. I'm sure the design, the materials have probably changed a little bit over the years. I have not tried the current version of these, but if I were ever to wear these out or lose them, I'd replace them in a heartbeat. They're just the best jogger or athleisure style pant that I've ever owned. And despite 7+ years of heavy wear, they're still going strong. Panasonic Lumix GH5. When I first started making videos, I just used my phone. At the time, it was like an iPhone 7 and the camera was good enough. Then I upgraded to a Canon Rebel, which was a great little DSLR, but I wanted to be able to shoot in 4K and 60 FPS and slow motion, so after a lot of research, I settled on the Panasonic GH5. So that was in 2018. I paid $2,600 for the camera body with a good kit lens and a couple of accessories. Pro tip, you can often find these bundles on places like B&H Photo, sometimes Amazon. Depending on your situation, this can be a really good deal. I'm still using this camera. In fact, I bought a copy of it, the exact same body with the same lens, so I could do multicam video, like if I'm doing an EDC video or a watch collection. New camera tech comes out every year. There's a whole corner of YouTube dedicated to camera reviews. I get sucked into that rabbit hole all the time, watching reviews for cameras that I definitely don't need, microphones that I probably shouldn't buy. Looking at you, podcastage. I've been tempted to upgrade to the GH7 or a full frame camera from Panasonic, or even switching to Sony or Canon just to see what they have to offer. The GH5 isn't perfect after all. The autofocus sucks. The app you use to control the camera from your computer or your phone, it can be buggy. But if I'm actually being honest with myself, I know that this camera is more than enough for my needs. I haven't even come close to pushing this thing to its limits. I'm still experimenting with different video modes and color profiles. If there's anything holding me back from achieving my creative goals or goals for this channel, it's not the camera. This is a great camera. It's just my self-doubt and regret and inner monologue. And the truth is, the quality of your photos and your video and audio has a lot more to do with your production chops and the effort you put in to actually learning your gear and your trade than your equipment. It's like music. The most expensive violin in the world will sound terrible in the hands of an amateur, but a professional can make even a cheap instrument sound amazing. So this temptation to upgrade is usually just a distraction. It's a form of procrastination. It's always better to max out the gear that you have, to really push it to its limits until it's holding you back. And then, yeah, time to upgrade. So I could definitely keep using this GH5 for another 7 years, and I probably will. Last but not least, these cheap sunglasses. There are many good reasons for wanting to own fewer but better things. You know, maybe you fancy yourself a minimalist. Maybe you're concerned about sustainability and want to minimize your footprint. Maybe you're just frugal. Using the things that you own for as long as possible until you really wear them out is the best way to accomplish all of those goals. These sunglasses, for example, they cost $8.37 from a now defunct online shop called Sunglass Warehouse. I got them in the summer of 2020, so they're about 5 years old now. I've had sunglasses that cost 30 times more break within a year. And when I wrote the script a couple of weeks ago, I was going to say that, and these are still going strong, but they actually just broke. The thing is, I've worn them probably 1,000 times. I've repaired them a bunch of times too. I love these glasses because of the way they fit and stayed on my face. These were my most worn pair of sunglasses ever, and they cost less than $9. Now, were they made from sustainably sourced materials? Probably not. Was Sunglass Warehouse a certified B Corp? No. But it's still better to own and actually wear one pair of cheap sunglasses for 5+ years than to own multiple pairs of higher quality shades that you don't wear or that fall apart quickly. Really wish these hadn't broke because it's making it hard to make this point. And yes, I did try gluing this back together and they just broke again. These are at the end of their life. It's time for sunglasses heaven. But I wanted to include them in this video because you don't have to spend a lot of money to buy something that you can use for a long time. And I love when things get worn in and when they develop this patina. Even when they break like this, it's just a sign that I actually use these for their intended purpose. So if you do participate in fast fashion or fast retail, either by choice or due to budget constraints, that's okay. Try to wear your stuff for as long as possible. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I had a few other things on this list, but I didn't want this video to get too long. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, let me know in the comments, and I'll start working on a part 2. I want to hear from you. What's something that you've owned for a long time and that's still going strong? Leave a comment below. Thank you again to Panasonic for sponsoring this video. Definitely go check out the Panasonic Palm Razor. Links below in the description. Thank you as always for watching, and until next time.